It's Carrie Campbell with the Dog Gurus. I have some guests here with me today. Alex McKinnon with Kin Clean Bowls, and I've got Jennifer Wolf Pearson from ABC Pet Resort in Texas. If somebody would drop a comment in the comment section so we know that you can hear us, that would be wonderful. And just to give you a little background, if you are not familiar with the Dog Gurus, we are a pet care business consulting organization that helps businesses launch, grow, and profit. And we offer consulting services as well as staff training programs. And I think I've got, yay, Brandon. Thank you for making that comment. Now we know we are live for sure. So today's topic is we're going to be talking about your business and making it more efficient. And I'm going to start with Jennifer and ask her, what's your philosophy or what are you doing in your organization to make your staff and operations more efficient?
Yeah, absolutely. So philosophies, it ties in with Alex's mission. He has something on his website that I love. It's pets, people, planet, and profits, I think is the 4 Ps that he uses. So when you want to be more efficient, you have to look at all 4 of those things really to figure out where that area of opportunity is. Your people hold the keys to pretty much everything when it comes to efficiencies in your business. The number one expense is salaries. So that's our number one thing we want to look at when it comes to efficiencies. If that payroll percentage is in line, we can handle pretty much everything else. It starts with the people and how you get people efficient, how you streamline that. People in a business is a living organism. You've got so many aspects that move into it, and you have to capitalize on that. Use your people, help them help you innovate. Because innovation, that is what's going to bring forward different ways to streamline, to automate, to find those new things that are going to make things easier for the business and better for the. So yeah, people, pets, profit, planet, right? Yeah.
Alex, do you want to elaborate on that a little more?
I agree with everything Jen said, and just to add another way of looking at it, which is not, and this does not conflict with what Jen said, it's just a different way, and that would be the 4 T's of being efficient. And the 4 T's are time, talent, treasure, and testing. And the reason I put time first is I think time is probably everybody's most important resource. And it's not only, if you're an owner or a manager, it's not only your time, it's all of your team's time, as Jen said. And one of the things that we learned very, very early after launching our Clean Bowls was that we learned that a lot of people have strong assumptions about how much time different aspects of their operation take, but they really hadn't done time studies. And whether you're considering our product or another product that has nothing to do with our business or services or whatever, I would highly encourage you to do formal time studies, because you think you might know how much time, but you would be surprised how often things turn out to be different. As a quick story, we met one of our first clients, which was Elaine's Pet Resorts. They have 2 locations in California, and their owner, Howard Nestel, years ago. And he's a genius. He's very savvy. He knows all his numbers. And he really taught us a lot about how to do a proper time study. And if anybody's ever interested, we do have downloadable Excel time study formats on our website, including one which is kininc.com, Reduce Labor Time. And again, whether you're thinking about our products or not, that's not my point. Because as Jen said, it's really your people who are your number one asset. They're probably by far your biggest expense. So actually doing time study, not only on how you feed and give water to pets, which is what we're all about, but anything and everything else that involves any time, you really should do a time study.
Excellent. I just posted that link in the chat for those that are interested in looking at that document. Thanks for that, Alex. Did you want to say anything else about the other 3 T's?
Oh, sure. But I also, if you or Jen had something you wanted to say first, the reason I started with time is I think, other than which we're not going to talk about today, or maybe love dogs too much, but that's another topic. But time is the most valuable. And the reason we put talent number 2, as Jen said, people are that is by far the most important thing to get going with your business and your talent. And I think Jen and you probably have more that you could say to how to better manage your talent. The one thing that we do recommend is taking a holistic approach, and don't really view them as, quote, really view them as, if you're a small business, they probably are closer to being family, and making sure that you treat them well, that you set goals together, because I think it's all about setting goals. And we do have a holistic view on how our product can help you have better careers. And that is at ilovepetcare.com. And without that, I'm sure Jen has a lot more specific, because she runs a facility, on what she can say to help you be more efficient and more productive with your talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Time is huge. I've been having a lot more discussions about the cost of turnover, the cost of losing those key team members. And every time, in some way or another, it keeps boiling down to frustration in the training process. People don't generally leave organizations because of money. We're all worried about money. We're talking about recession and all of these other things, but people don't generally leave for that. There's generally ways to make more money no matter where you work. Most people leave out of frustration because they don't feel like they were properly trained, or they don't feel like there's a future, a path to advancement. And when we start digging in and talking more and more about like that turnover and that cost, it starts always boiling down to written procedures, standards of operations, like SOPs. When I say SOPs, generally people, they glaze over and they just become incredibly bored instantly. But if you're just using that as a piece of paper or a big binder or a book that sits on a shelf, absolutely, it's a book, it's a paperweight. It's not worth anything. But when you really activate it and you streamline it and you turn it live and you show your team that it's something that can be adjusted depending on their innovations, what they see, it comes to life and it helps solve that issue with turnover, because they have somewhere to go that has the answers. People want answers. We're living in a culture that wants to thoroughly understand the why and be involved in that why. And if you don't have the why and the how written down, they're going to constantly be wasting time, or just your talent's going to be wasting time, because they're going to be busy talking to each other about what they should be doing. Document these procedures. Just because you have this vision in your head doesn't mean it's been translated, even if you've translated it only once in one form. People learn in so many different ways. Some people learn better through doing or seeing or listening or reading. If you can build SOPs that cover all of those different types of learning, then you're going to really break through. The Dog Gurus have a really great template, and it gets you that jump in the right direction. It gives you that guideline. These are the things that you're going to need to cover. These are those things, but you still have to personalize it. Get in there, and is that going to fit your facility? Add some pictures, add some videos. We're in the middle of spring break and we're having a blast. We have tons of pets. And we have one team member that hasn't done a whole lot of individual play. He's generally in other departments, and he's doing individual play today. And I walked by the kitchen and he was getting ready to make treats. We do like yogurt treats and some other things. He's never been trained on how to, but we have our SOPs on an app. He pulled it up, had a written step-by-step description and a video that he could play. And he was able to do it on his own. So he didn't have to waste his own time. He didn't have to involve a whole second employee and waste their. So our talent was spending more time with the pets doing what they needed to do. So spend some time on those. Start with that Dog Gurus template and then expand it and grow it, and add your pictures, add your videos, find a way to get it mobile and out of the binder. Right? There's too many free options that are in the cloud. You can do Google Documents. There's so many ways to share this information. Get it in the hands of your people so that it does its job.
That you're talking about making it digital, because that is one thing that I've seen with the clients I work with, is the importance of getting those 30, 60, 90-second videos that are something this kind of younger generation of the workforce are in tune with, because everything for them is electronic. You said you have yours in an app. What app are you using?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different options out there. I think we all might feel like there's no perfect software out there. So we have a separate system that handles our time. It handles employee communication, time clocks, scheduling, payroll, and it also holds all of our SOPs electronically. It's called Connect Team. It's just a commercial time clock. And so I think it's just connectteam.com. I found them reasonable, but it's really brought them to life. We've always had pictures. We talk about SOPs, and there's a few things you have to define in an SOP. You have to define who's going to do the work, what the actions are they have to do, where they can find all of their tools. So we've always had those, but now that we've put it on an app, and we had it in Google Drive, which is kind of user friendly, but sometimes we would have team members that just couldn't connect with that technology. But when it was on an app that was tied into scheduling, it just streamlined that. One nice piece of it, as well as if you need them to see an update, or you have key members that need to read a new policy or a change in policy or procedure, it pops up and it doesn't allow any other activity until they acknowledge its existence. So I just personally love that.
That's a great feature.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. You can really make it work with Google Drive. Some of the point of sale systems in our industry have some areas for checklists, different items that you can build those in as well.
Perfect. So Alex, I'm going to ask you a question that can highlight a little bit about your product, and that's saving time and creating that better workflow with the right product. So why don't you share a little bit about the Clean Bowls and what you've seen as far as feedback from your clients on the efficiency for their team and the use of your product?
Sure. For those not familiar, our Clean Bowl is comprised of a sugarcane fiber bowl, which is compostable, recyclable, and even if you throw it in the garbage, it still reduces greenhouse gases versus washing. So you have this, and then you put a stainless steel frame on top of it to make it spill proof. The key thing, and we're talking about lodging and boarding right now, is you assign this frame to a dog or a cat for the duration of their stay. So during a 4-day typical lodging stay, you would typically wash 2 food bowls and 1 water bowl a day, which would be 4 times 3, is you'd be cleaning 12 bowls. With this, if you use it for food and water, you're going down from washing 12 bowls to just sanitizing this when they check out. So you're reducing the amount of time spending bowls from washing 12 down to 2. And back to the 4 T's that I was talking about. Number one, hopefully it's clear for everybody to understand, when you go from washing 12 down to 2, that's a reduction of about 84%. And when you're reducing the amount of time you spend washing bowls and you repurpose that time to other areas, for example, spending more time with the dogs, or offering additional services with the same dogs, or taking care of more pets with the same amount of staff. Not only is that kind of the third T, which is we were talking about before, not only does that make it, that's your treasure, it makes it your business more valuable. When you also repurpose that time, employees typically hate washing bowls. It's one of the things they detest the most. So if they spend 84% less time washing bowls, and they re-spend that time with the dogs and offering other services, not only does that make you a lot more money, it actually improves employee retention. And at a high level related to treasure, what I was going to also say, it's always important to know what investment you need to make when you're changing something. What's the investment and what's the payback period? And with these, if you invest $44 up front and you use it the way we recommend it, within your first year, that $44 will bring you up to $900 extra profit. And since that may sound like a big number and a big jump, I'd love to, Jen happens to know our product pretty well. Maybe she could add something to complement what I just said.
The dishes are horrendous. The perception of our industry is we play with pups and we hear a lot of squeaky wheels of, I told them it was going to be dirty and we'd be cleaning rooms and it would be poop and this and that and the other. And then they come and then they don't like it because they're not playing with the pups. Just one more thing that you can take off of that list that is not interacting with the dogs. Thing that you can do to take those key things away is going to help. Absolutely. And washing dishes is the thing they want to do at the end of the day. It's like everybody puts it off and then set to close, and now they have an hour and a half worth of bowls to do. So it does really reduce that time. We've seen it. Thing that is disposable, and if it's also good for the planet, excellent. That is really huge. These just going back to efficiencies, there's going to be tons of products out there. I love that Alex said you do time studies to actually see what it is that you're going to be using or losing. We go through a ton of products. We have cleaning products, we have office supplies. Like sometimes I'm shocked at the office supplies. Like it's a pet resort. Like when you get that end of year number, I'm like, give me all of the paper clips. Who's throwing the paper clips away? It just blows my mind. But with efficiencies, like things that I don't personally use them, but I've seen it work in other facilities. Our facility is 32 years old. So there's only so much retrofitting we can do at this point. It's beautiful. We've had a brand new remodel. Items that you can use to dispense products that are pre-arranged. Those are great ways to add some efficiencies. Ordering. If you don't know how much you're using, how do you know what to order? I'm surprised at how many people don't have PAR forms, or like a form that has a min and a max, all of the key things that you're ordering all of the time. If you're ordering from Health Technologies or Amazon or Walmart all of the time, you have those core items. So you should go down the list and, okay, we need to have 2 containers of paper towel and, all of these things. And then you can start keeping those in one folder and track it over time. And if somebody is taking all of your paper goods home, instead of just reordering, you can start seeing the pattern and the change. And that's one way to reduce some costs, is watching those key expenses. And if you can automate that even further, if there's auto replenishment programs that you can become a part of, that is excellent. Even Walmart does it. Ken does it with his bowls. I'm pretty sure most of the major chemical companies do as well. The people that are ordering the product, it might not be the owner or the operator. I'm not ordering anything. My office manager is like my comptroller. She brings me a receipt like, what was this? I'm like, I don't know, give me a minute. But those people, the people that are doing all of that ordering, their time is valuable because they're generally the people that you trust the most. You've given them a credit card, or they have in control of my spending habits. They're in charge with something like that. But if you're taking their time to click little boxes on Walmart.com that could be on an auto replenishment, that is another big area of opportunity where you can save with your talent base. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I pulled a string there.
That's okay. I was thinking the same thing. There's a couple things just to elaborate on what you said. One of those is going paperless, whether it's a receipt that you receive when you purchase something, or if it's invoices or receipts that you're giving to your clients, having the ability through your point of sale system, or whether you're ordering things online, to have all of those receipts done via email. It's saving, one, for the planet, the trees that are being used to make the paper, and it's just lowering your cost of having to buy ink and paper and all of that's needed to print receipts and invoices. Another side of that too is looking at whether it's you as an owner or your leadership team, what are they doing that is taking up the majority of their time? And is there someone else that task can be delegated to? So either through delegation, you're giving a lower staff member a new opportunity to take on a task that they may find a lot of enjoyment in, or they just may be better at it, or actually using some sort of outsourcing firm like Fancy Hands or Upworks, one of those websites where you can literally just go pay for a short task to be completed, or even getting a virtual assistant, because there's a lot of things I used to love to do in my business, but it wasn't an efficient use of my time. So getting rid of that and seeing the creativity in how some of those things were being done by my staff was really exciting. And I think that helped them take ownership in the process as well. So again, going back to just increasing staff enjoyment and retention. And then as far as you touched just quickly on the dispensing products and that those that are actually doing the pre-measured amounts, I was shocked when we switched products several years ago, how often people were adding too much. They just weren't using the correct measurements. And when we switched to one of those machines where it's little push the button, water and solution come in at the correct dilution, and our cost went down significantly in what we were paying for that cleaning product. So all of those little things are ways that you can definitely button up with your team and make things a little more efficient. Let's see, what else do I have here? Alex, do you want to go back to the other two T's and see if there's things that we can
Sure.
discuss there?
Sure. The one thing I talked about love up front and love of dogs. One of the things that, yes, this is a plug about our products, but one of the other things that, and I think when we first met Jen, this was one of the things that was interesting to her is, and you were talking about cleaning products, a lot of people don't realize that dishwashers don't get hot enough to kill all the viruses and bacteria. Yes, our 4Ps are pets, people, planet, and profits. And we put pets first. And that's actually how we developed this. And when you dispose of this, whether you compost it, you recycle it with paper, or even if you trash it, you're getting rid of all of the germs that are in there. And you might say, my facility is under control. If you have zero kennel cough and you have zero canine flu, then you're probably doing okay. But we keep hearing more and more about kind of epidemics of that going around. And we've had clients who've told us that we've reduced the incidence of canine illness by 67% when they switch from using dishwashers to that. And the reason I put that up front is I think all of us hopefully would agree on one thing, that we love dogs. And that's probably why we're in the business. And yes, improving the employee retention, yes, making more money, that's all important. And yes, being there to help the planet's good. I was starting to feel there is another T I left out, which is terrier. And we have two terriers, and I was looking at Jen's shirt. She's got a beautiful terrier on. So that's really why we got into the business. So I did want to talk about pet health, because I think that is also, that kind of goes back to several things. And so I think I talk quite a bit about time, about talent, about treasure. And the only thing I didn't really spend much time talking about so far is testing. And testing is very important. It goes with the time studies and things like that. And we would encourage people to try different things, whether they're looking at our products, whether they're looking at other products, whether they're talking about virtually any way they're looking at their operation. Testing is important. And that's one of the reasons that one of the ways we help clients move into our product line a little bit slowly so they feel more comfortable is we have test kits. And so for less than $100, you can buy a collection of our clean bowls and refills and get a lot of educational information. So testing, I think, is important. And I think that goes for everything. And I don't know, Jen, what am I missing?
Yeah. No, you have to test it, but as an owner or operator, you shouldn't be the one testing it. Like, I'm not going to be back there washing dishes. I'll do it. I'm not saying I don't do it. All right. But if I am the full-time dishwasher, we've got bigger issues happening. But you need to have the people who are going to use and experience whatever the new product is, or the new idea, or the new policy or procedure. They need to test it. And you need to set up a culture of transparency so that they feel comfortable coming to you and actually giving a true review and a true suggestion. A piece that I feel helps our team see how transparent that we are and how much we need their feedback. That's the only reason, our resort's been here 32 years. 32 years ago, group play wasn't a thing. Susan and Robin didn't come around and let anybody know it was a thing yet. So everything was set up to be separate. And Suzanne and Al, our ownership team, they listened to their people because their people started to see some of these things and see different needs in the animals and hear about it from other peers in the industry. And they help move that forward. And we keep that philosophy alive. Every other week we have an open meeting with our team. And in that team, we go over we pull out a policy or a procedure from our SOPs, and do we use it? Does it work? Is there a better way? Open discussion. If there is a change, even if it is small, change it, because then the team is empowered. They understand that they have pull, they have weight, their opinion matters, and they can initiate some change. We support and open things up and talk about business type principles and thought processes, and you just never know what string that's going to pull and what you can awaken in a team member that's going to help you just transport your business forward, because they are the ones that see the issues. They're the ones that actually have the idea on how to improve things. But if they're too reserved and they don't feel comfortable about talking to you about those things, it's never going to come to life. Use that main asset. You've got strong people. Listen to them. Talk to them about workflow, figure out how it can get better. I can't remember the exact principle I read last week, but it was something like ownership level knows about 4% of the problems. Mid-level management knows about like 16% of the problems. Your supervisor level knows about 75%. If you want to know what the issues are and how to fix them, you need to get down and you need to get to that entry level, because they're going to be the ones that know the nit and the gritty. They can get it taken care of. It's your team. Lean on them, and it's going to be pretty awesome. It's pretty cool.
That's great. Thank you. I can't believe that went by so quickly, because at the half hour mark. See Spot Run on 21. You had a question directly for Alex. Just because we respect people's time, I'm going to have you reach out to him directly. I did put both of their contact links in the chat. So if you need to reach them, make sure you copy that down before we. I want to thank both Jen and Alex for being here with me today, and also let you know that the Dog Gurus has a Facebook group called Grow Your Pet Care Business. It has quite a few members, and it's a wonderful place to be able to go and discuss with your peers questions you may have. If you have questions for us, we can follow up there and give you other answers.